So I once again welcome you all to this very special 163rd session of Leadership Talks. As you all know that these sessions are being organized by India International Education Council and School Lalaji Solutions. India International Education Council is a not-for-profit organization which is working in the field of education. It has collaborators from 12 countries. India International Education Council aims to create a better world through education. Building quality centers for elementary education, approachable for all kids, is another goal of IAEC. It is also, finding best educational practices across the globe and find ways to implement those in Indian institutions. It is also creating more awareness on hygiene and learning disabilities. It publishes a magazine called World Education Review and many other educational reports. It aims to build 100 chapters in different cities by 2022. It will soon open its membership for institutions and individuals. It also impart training for leaders, teachers, students, and parents. As you all know that so far we have conducted 162 sessions. We have received 20,308 registrations, 18,994 questions. We have received participation from 8 countries: India, USA, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Nepal, Kuwait, Russia, and Seychelles. From India, we have received participation from 23 states and 130 cities. We aim to reach out to 100,000 educators through this leadership talk series. With this, we would be reaching out to 20,000 institutions and 1,000 plus eminent speakers like today's speakers would be joining us to share their perspective and thoughts on national education. So with this, I would request you all, please join me in welcoming our key speakers for this very special session. Our first key speaker, a very senior education leader, R.S. Pandey ji. R.S. Pandey, sir, is principal with the Krishna Public School, Bhilai, Chhattisgarh. He has done MSc Mathematics, MSc Statistics, and MAd. He has also worked with Kendriya Vidyalayas PGT at different places like Allahabad, Naini, Katni, and Shahdol. From 2003 to till date, he is leading Krishna Public School, Sundarnagar, Bhilai as principal. He has received many prestigious awards like Best Teacher Award from Bhilai Steel Plant, Best Teachers Award from Honorable Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh. He has also received National Award in 2012 from Honorable President of India on occasion of Teachers' Day. He has worked with the CBSE resource persons of COE Bhubaneswar, Pune, and Bhopal and different topics such as mathematics, evaluation system, classroom management, gender sensitivity, NEP 2020, so many times conducted by CBSE. He has also worked as subject expert of class 12th mathematics, city coordinator in different public exams, AISSE, AISSCE, CTET, among others. He has also given his services as a chief nodal supervisor and center superintendent of CBSE exams since last more than 10 years. We welcome you, R.S. Pandey, sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, sir. I'll come back to you. Our next key speaker, another senior education leader, Rajiv Mohan Pandey, sir. Rajiv, sir, is principal with the Rosie Public School of Shahjahanpur, Uttar Pradesh. He is an eminent, prodigious academician, a stoic devotee, and a philosopher. He is leading by example on how a great school should be run, and he has taken the institution to the zenith of success. He's a multitasker, generates lots of ideas. He has answers for all the queries. He's a good leader, focused, humble, innovative, and very specific. He has been awarded and recognized many times for his contribution to the field of education. We welcome you, Rajiv, sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you. And our last key speaker for this very special session, Dr. R.P. Pandey ji. Dr. Pandey is assistant professor with SRM University. Dr. Pandey was a FAPESP postdoctoral fellow, which is a very prestigious fellowship of Latin America. He was also a research associate at the Translational Health Science and Technology Institute. He did his doctorate degree 2014 from the University of Delhi and TACF tuberculosis aerosol challenge facility at the Indian International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, New Delhi. He's an editorial board member of more than 10 journals and editor-in-chief of Indian Journal of Hospital Infection. He has been awarded the DST, Government of Department of Science and Technology, under Government of India, Young Scientist Award, Senior Research Fellowship from Indian Council of Medical Research, Indian Immunology Society Young Scientist Award, European Federation of Immunological Societies Travel Award, British Society of Immunology Travel Award. I welcome you, Afi Mandiji. Thank you for joining. So honored to
Yeah,
have you.
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir. I'll come back to you. So with this, we come to the next part of the session, which is the opening remarks. Now, I would invite all our key speakers one by one, for their opening remarks. I would first request R.S. Pandey, sir. Sir, if we can have your quick 1 minute opening remark.
Good morning to all of you. I will discuss about the transformation, curriculum and pedagogical structure in the National Education Policy 2020 up to +2 level. What changes are there? About this, I will certainly discuss. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We all are very excited and honored with your presence. I would come back to you for a detailed perspective. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I would request Rajiv Mohan Pandey, sir. Rajiv, sir, if we can have your opening remark.
First of all, I would like to thank you and your team for giving me an opportunity to be here and to learn from such an eminent educationist today. On behalf of my school and my society, I thank you once again and looking forward to learn a lot from today's session and especially from both the Pandey sir. So, good morning. Today I'm going to speak about how the change in the new education policy is going to affect the community and the society as a whole. When we talk about new education policy, we talk about more on the basis of the student, what the student are going to get out of it, what the teachers are going to get out of it, how the scenario of the education is going to change. But the very important thing to be taken and to be considered on today's platform that how this new education policy is going to affect the society and the community. This is from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv sir. I will come back to you for a detailed perspective. We all are very excited for to hear your ideas in detail. Now, I would request our third Pandey sir, Ramenpati Pandey sir. Sir, if we can have your opening remark.
Yes, so good morning to all of you. Today is a really great day. Many Pandays together. Okay, very good morning to all of you. And this is a very important topic that we are discussing and debating, that new education policy. According to my perspective, this is a dream project of Government of India. And we have implemented this new education policy after 34 years. So country, we need this new education policy to break the boundary of the subject, that one student can take this subject. There will be a time where a student will be trained for vocational education. Hopefully this vocational education will bring a new job in India. People will have independent to choose. There will be no like only you need 10+2. There will be plenty of a scope that a student can choose. One thing I am very much hopeful about the local language, because in new education policy, this local language, I believe that language is one of the barrier for a total personality development of any education system, basically for the student. But at the same time, country like India, where we have this much population and this much diversity, how we are going to implement it, that is a marathon job by Government of India, from east to west, south to north. So there are challenges. At the same time, I am very much hopeful that it will bring a new dynamic system in the education. So that's from my side. I will discuss more when my time will come for the discussions. Once again, many thanks to the school Lalaji, okay, and Rajulji for doing this great job.
Thank you, Ramin sir, for your opening remark. Big thanks for your participation. I would come back to you for a detailed perspective. Now, with this, we come to the next part of the session, which is the main talk part. I would now invite our key speakers for their detailed perspective. But before I invite our first key speaker, I must share the learnings which we have had during our last 162 sessions. During our last 162 sessions, almost every participant shared that this is a wonderful document. And this document has potential to place India at that coveted position of Vishwa Gyan Guru. But at the same time, almost same number of participants shared that this is very ambitious document and it's going to be very, very challenging to execute. Many people, many educators gave the example of CCE, that was also a beautiful initiative, but got failed due to poor execution. Many believe finance is going to be a key concern area. Many educators, said that teachers training is going to be a big concern area. Many said, yes, teachers training is going to be a big concern area, but the bigger concern area would be lack of motivation and intent among teachers to get trained. Many participants also shared that this pandemic has exposed the poor distribution of digital infrastructure in our country. So that is going to be another big challenge. Many senior educators who participated also shared that good schools in urban areas already implementing many of these ideas. So the biggest challenge would be for rural schools, for budget schools, and for the government schools. So I would request you all, today's all our key speakers, that while sharing your perspective, if you can also suggest some ideas, some best practices which you have been doing in your institution, so that we all can learn from each other, and this session becomes more useful and engaging for all of us. I would also request you all, please keep the time limit of 10 minutes per speaker in mind so that we have sufficient time in the end for the questions. So with this, I would invite our first key speaker, Radhesham Pandey sir. Sir, over to you.
Good morning to all of you. About national education policy, what is its principle? Why it should be implemented? What is the key role of that one? I will discuss this one. First, respect for diversity and local context. Second, equity and inclusion. Third one is community participation. Fourth is use of the technology and emphasize the conceptual understanding. Fifth one is the unique capabilities. Next one is critical thinking and creativity. The last one is continuous review. On these principles, the national education policy will be framed, which is a very good idea. But just Rajiv said, difficulty is the implementation. It is a very big challenge to us. However, first thing I will discuss about the +2 system. Initially, up till date, 10+2 system is implemented. Now it will be reformed, transferred to the 5+3+3+4. 5+3+3+4. All are knowing that 10+2 system will be going on. Only some modification is there. Now it will be tell as 5+3+3+4 system. First 5 will be known as a foundation stage. First 5 years is known as a foundation stage. It will be also divided into two parts. First 3 years and next. First 3 years is the preparatory stage, and other 2 years will be class 1 and 2. Next one is the preparation stage, that will be again for 3 years, class 3, class 4, class 5. Next one is middle, the same, 6, 7, 8, and finally 4 years, that will be the secondary stage, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 10+2 system will be as it is, but for foundation stage, till now, there are no any fixed criteria for pre-primary school. Now it will be in national education policy, it is very much clearly mentioned that first 3 years must be pre-primary schooling will be started. Now shift to competency-based teaching, not the low rote learning and assessment. promoting the critical and creative thinking designed to the 21st century in classroom, shifting the traditional assessment to competency focus. Traditional assessment, till now we will provide the paper, student will write it. This assessment system is also to be changed as a competency. What competency he is getting during the classroom, it must be focused on that. Track the student progress, comprehensive and frequent. Each and every student to be tracked continuously, monitoring. Earlier it was CCE, but Rajiv sir told it has been flop. So God bless that it will not flop now. National education policy. We will track the student progress continuously, comprehensively as well as frequently. इस पर भी काफी कुछ फोकस किया गया है. Design tools and resources to acquire learning outcomes. Reducing the curriculum. Curriculum को less करना है. Reducing the curriculum to the core essential to maintain the rote learning. Promoting the sports integrated and art integrated learning classrooms for holistic development. इस दो पर बहुत ज्यादा ध्यान दिया गया है. Art integration and sports. One by one I will discuss about the foundation stage. First I will discuss. Means first 5 years. Play activity based learning. इसमें जो प्री प्राइमरी की बात कर रहे हैं, फर्स्ट 3 इयर्स, उस पर बेसिकली ओनली वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट दी प्ले एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग. पेडागॉजी ऑफ अर्ली चाइल्डहुड केयर एंड एजुकेशन, ECCE. Pedagogy of early childhood care and education means first 3 years is based on this one only. Focus on good behavior, courtesy, ethics, personal public hygiene as well as cleanliness. First year में only we will focus on the good behavior, courtesy, ethics, personal public hygiene as well as cleanliness. Focus on teamwork and cooperation to each other. These are basic principles for the first 5 years, means pre-primary as well as class 1 and 2. After that 5 years, the student will be shifted to the preparatory stage for 3 years. That will be class 3, class 4 and class 5. Now the gradually transition from play-based learning to the more formal classroom teaching, means from class 3 we will start the formal classroom teaching. Before that, no formal classroom teaching, only the play-based method to be adopted. Interactive teaching learning. Introduction of subject means from class 3 they are going to introduce the subjects, including languages, science, mathematics, physical education, as well as art integration. Emphasis on reading, writing, and speaking. Means for class 3, 4, 5, पर mostly we will focus on these 3 things: reading, writing, as well as speaking. Now come to the middle stage. From middle stage, subject-oriented pedagogical and curriculum methodology will be started. Subject teachers for learner, discussion for more abstract concept in each subject across the sciences, mathematics, social sciences, and art as well as sports learning will be continued. Now in secondary stage, means for 4 years, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 year multidisciplinary study. अभी तक साइंस अलग, कॉमर्स, agriculture, arts, humanities, all these are there. Now, so much flexibility should be there. They are telling कि with science means physics, mathematics के साथ history में भी आपके may be taken commerce also. Multidisciplinary, not focus on the science subject, science stream, commerce stream, humanities stream, all these streams to be abolished. Greater depth, greater critical thinking, greater attention of the life experience, greater flexibility, and it will be depending on the student choice. Subject will be totally depending on the student choice. What subject he will choose, that will be taken. Exposure to more subjects and enable the greater flexibility. Not necessarily only 5 subjects will be taken in the 11th and 12th. The number of subjects he may opt more than 5 also. More frequent assessment of the knowledge. It is also introduced in that. Now, what is the goal for ECCE? I have discussed it earlier, childhood care and education. To prepare the including initial stage high cadre quality teacher. It is the big task for ECCE because till now there are no training, no schooling for these students. So they are more focusing on high quality ECE teacher. About that, the government is planning for introducing either 6-month certificate course as well as our 1-year diploma course for ECE. It will be started. I hope government will be doing for that. There will be prepare for class 1 student up to the age of 5 years. These teachers will be only for up to pre-primary stage. Means we will tell whatever the name. Earlier they are started as Anganwadi. Some of the English medium schools will be nursery, KG1, KG2. Whatever the name you will give, this will be named as a ECCE, Early Childhood Care and Education. For these, the essential qualification for the teacher is either 6-month certification course or 1-year diploma course for ECE. It will be the basic requirement for the starting. Now, for these students, first 3 months only totally based on the play-based. Early ECE का first 3 months only play-based. The next 3 months play-based school preparation model for all grade 1 students. Then reading, writing, about the alphabet, it should be started after 6 months. Numerals, basic concepts of the addition, subtraction only. All these things will come under ECE. We will, for ECE, it is very essential that in the local languages, they are talking about the local languages. These teachers will be taught to the students or prepare for the class 1 only in the local languages. Then they can be able to understand properly. In my opinion, it is also good. Whatever the others thinking, but as I think in the local languages, if ECCE will be started, then better scope will be there. Certainly, for this, by the local languages, dropout rates must be minimized. Dropout rates must be ensuring the universal access of the education in all levels. For 21st century, some skill education is also developed from very beginning. From middle stage means from class 6, they are telling that at least 10 days bagless schooling must be there for each and every class. At least 10 days. It is essential for develop their skills. What skills to be developed? Scientific temperament, collaboration, digital literacy, problem solving, communicating skill, critical thinking, creativity, health and fitness, social responsibility, ethics, some carpentry work, electrical work, metal work, gardening, pottery making, cooking, sewing needle, etc. Means in the middle stage, they are talking about from 3 to class 3, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8. At least 10 days only these skills to be developed. If it is not possible continuously 10 days, then it may be in the part, or it may be the half day up to 20 days or 1 month, then skill to be developed. Regular use of the puzzles, games, and make the mathematical models, thinking will be more enjoyable for the students. So in a short, I will discuss about these steps. I hope that all will be benefited for that. How it should be implemented, they will think to. Thank you.
Thank you, uh, Disham sir, for sharing these valuable points. You began by highlighting the importance of execution, and that is going
Yeah.
to be a challenge, and execution is key. You
Yes.
also shared your assessment that focus on early childcare education of this NEP is highly laudable, and we all agree with you, sir. You also talked about that this NEP has a potential to take us away from that rote learning based system and create a competency based education ecosystem. You also talked about the importance of art integration and the value has been given to sports by this policy. You also shared your assessment that the NEP focuses upon that playway or activity based learning methods for primary classes or for the beginners. You also talked about the importance of reading, writing, and speaking, and then you highlighted the importance of flexibility, which is being given in this NEP in terms of choosing subjects and how it is going to
Yes.
create that huge impact. So big thanks, Ratisham sir, for sharing these important points. I would be coming back to you with questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And now with this, let's take the views from the higher education. I would now invite Dr. Ramin Pati Pandey sir. Ramin sir, if you can have your ideas, your
Okay, so thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. This is really a very, very important topic of a like basically for at education when we are talking that when we are going to reform the new education policy that has been introduced, I think at the right time to complete the process and the vision of creating a quality institution, okay, and to bring a culture of innovation and a highly skilled, I can say, the workforce in the country that is going to be like implement after 34 years. So it was a time that when this plan was when the plan was implemented in like in the country, there was I was just going through the literature and I have seen that the people who have participated in this making this new education policy, they have really worked they have worked very hard of going through grassroots of a country like in the rural area to all the school to see that what are the problem and what are the possibility that we can bring and change the education. So this is the basically a landmark change by the Indian government, and like that had been approved by the Union Cabinet and had made the something like I can say the revolutionary reform in the Indian education system. If we can see in Indian education policy that it is still in the like in the beginning. This is the first draft that we have. There are many things that we need to implement it. But if we see some key point that what we are going to discuss about new education policy, that schooling will be begin from the age of 3 years, the mother tongue to be like a medium of education, and then a single body that will be for a higher education. Like in this time, if you see that we have like a different education. If somebody from the engineering background, then we need to follow a rule of AICT. If we are from the university, then we need to follow the UGC, HRD. There is the state government policy there. But in new education policy, that will be a single higher education body who will monitor everything from for all the state, for all the country. There will be most important thing that there will be no barrier of choosing a subject stream, and that will give a new education revolution and bring a vocational education which will be introduced in schools. So what my initial speaker before me, the speaker was saying that a student will learn that like a carpenter or whatever the skilled based education, and that type of education will bring a job in the market. And what's the most important thing in the new education policy is that we are going to have a scientific way of teaching, scientific way of learning. So because I am basically from a science background, so I know that when we are studying a science subject like a theory, for example, physics, chemistry, or biology, then generally theory is the theory. But when at the same time, when we perform the experiment with the theory, then our knowledge is complete. Like when the students see that how this experiment is going on, what does it mean by the result, and when they correlate with the theory and experiment together, it has been scientifically approved that it has a long memory in the like in the student. So hopefully in this scientific culture we will be able to bring a scientific innovation, and a student will be able to do the experiment in like in the all the primary education system. And by doing this, what will happen that a student will be have more creation, like a more creativity will be there. The reason is that because when we study a high standard any books related to, and then you see that all this book, when a writer write a book, that book is written based on the research that the authors or editor had done they together. So, but again, the country like India, the problem is that what I was saying, that these are the reformation that is going to happen, and like all these thing, good thing, vocational education, the scientific culture, there is no barrier in the subject. This everything is the good, but come to a real problem of a country in India, that first thing is that who is going to reform the education system? So the people who are going to reform this education system is of course the teachers. So who is going to train that teachers? How this how the teacher will be trained, and how to organize this type of training program, because still we don't have the proper ratio between students and the teachers in the country. And we have a very diversified way of teaching system, starting from the rural, from the Anganwadi to the this primary school, to the middle school, to the high school. Then we have a very huge difference between the private schools and the government school. Somehow we are very difficult to compare. The infrastructure, the technology, the faculty are well equipped in the private schools. But again, if we are talking about new education policy, then this policy will be for everyone. It will be for government school, it will be for the private school. Private schools are ready for adopt the things very rapid, very fast. But what about the government school, basically in the rural area? Till now, because I am very much hopeful that most of the like initiative of the school Lalaji or other educationists who are doing this great job, the private schools are already following this new education policy. They have already started working at the ground level. Their technology is very advanced. Their school teachers are very fast to learn the thing. But again, the question is how we are going to transfer to the all the school equally. There should be no differences. The ratio should be the same. And second, the problem is how we are going to bring the finances. Because if we talk about the new education policies, what we are talking in now after 34 years, so the earlier new education, there was education policy. When I was going through all the point of that education policy, till now we have not implemented all the rules. So there were many documented things in that policy. So same way in this new education policy, we have a lot of dreams that we are going to bring. We are going to do it. But again, the question is how we are going to support financially. If we are going to support financially, then what will be our equality? How we are going to distribute to all the school, to the private, to the public school? What will be the training program? So these are the basic. Now you can see in the COVID-19 pandemic, last 1 year we are going to be online education system. Now we are conducting the meeting. Now you can see due to the new system. In the past, it was very difficult to meet physically in the offline mode. But due to discovery of this online platform like Google Meet or other platform, we can have a link and just we need to decide and we can see each other. And now you can see just using our desktop or laptop or mobile, we are able to communicate our idea or discuss the thing. So these things are like we are going to have this type of problem in the near future. This COVID-19, you can see how a scary situation in the country, where the people are suffering due to the lack of mask, lack of oxygen, lack of the PPE kit. So now, because we have the population, we have the young population in the country. Hopefully, if we can bring the talent, if we can give the innovation to that children will be people who can do the production of oxygen. They can produce the PPE kit and they can find out some treatment for COVID-19. And like other disease, if it will come in the future, because this pandemic is never a stopping event. Because if you see the history in the past, sometime were the influenza, sometime the another influenza, sometime you can see the rabies, now you can see the COVID-19. So we need to have innovation. This is very important to have the reformation in the education policy. We will not stick to the what education policy we have in the country because we need to compete globally. We are not only we are not only representing a state. We are not only representing a country. We are representing the whole world. This is time a global education system. So that's why the education should be at such a platform where we can represent a country like a global leader. We need to be a global leader. And that is very true because if you see outside any country, including a state, the topmost university like Harvard University, you will be very happy to see that many professors are from Indian origin. Many scientists or many researchers are from the Indian origin, and they are doing the great research over there, and they are making our Indian flag flying. So NIH, National Institute of Health, all Indian students are there. In the UK, in the Australia, in the Germany, there are many Indian students. So outside, this is a belief, and people discuss among each other, and they say that Indian education system is very good. The Indian teacher teaches the student very well. So, but again, this is our time to criticize each other, to discuss this each other, what we are doing right now. But I am always say thankful to School Lalaji to organizing this event, to have all this idea, to document all this idea, and that they will send it to the government of India, and the government of India will review because this is a document that we are discussing from all the state, all the panelists from the different part of the country. And when it will go to the government of India, hopefully it will bring some way how we are going to change it and how we are going to implement it. The major problem, what I was saying to that, this is a very dream project of a country. We need this to change the new education because this is the demand of a country. But again, the problem is that how we are going to implement it. If we are going to implement it, then we all are responsible to make it successful. But nevertheless, I am very much hopeful that new education policy will be successful in the country. There will be reformation of the country. There will be reformation of the education, and we will have a vibrant education system. Once again, many thanks to all the panelists, all the audience, and a special thanks to School Lalaji for organizing this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pandey sir, for sharing. You almost touched upon all the important aspects of this NEP, and you presented a wonderful template to all of us. How we can effectively execute this policy. What are the important points? What would be the kind of impacts it can generate? So, big thanks, Raminpati Pandey sir, for sharing all these valuable thoughts. I would come back to you with questions. Thank you, sir. And now I would request Rajiv sir, Rajiv Mohan Pandey sir, if you can share your detailed perspective. Rajiv sir, do we have your presence? Rajiv sir, do we have your presence here? Rajiv sir would be joining us in next some moments. Meanwhile, I must present the questions which we have received. I would also request, other participants, if you have any question, you can write in the chat box. We have already received many questions. I'm going to present these questions to all of you. The first question, I would request Radhesham sir, if I may present the first question to you.
Yes, sir.
So this question has come from Miss Nitisha Soni. Nitisha ji is a PRT with Krishna Public School, Bhilai, from your school, sir. Nitisha ji's question says, what is there in NEP for gifted children? If you can highlight some two important points for students with special ability.
To which children, sir? To
Gifted children are gifted.
other differently abled children.
Like we can like she has just mentioned gifted children, but I believe
Other gifted children.
We can see people with
For
students
gifted
with
children. For
and
gifted children.
with special ability.
Sir. Yes. If he has some special ability, then certainly we will emphasize about their specialty. What is his specialty? Let us suppose someone is very good in mathematics, but poor in language. It may possible. So for mathematics, we will give some difficult questions, some extra work. This type we can help with it. If it will be good in language, then suggest the good books, some higher author, good authors, so that he can able to read and learn more. Extra questions to be given. Okay, the whole class will be certainly not homogeneous. Classes should be heterogeneous. Some may be below average, some may be the average student, some may be the gifted. So we will divide the total time into three parts. Sometimes is for below average student. Maximum time will be given for average student, and sometimes for gifted children. Let us suppose 40-minute period was there. Then 20 minutes to in general for average student we will talk. and 10 minutes to those who are below average, and next 10 minutes for gifted students. Our classroom planning will be for all of these two. Lesson plan will be prepared in such a manner that the majority of the 50% questions are to average for all, and some of the questions is for below average, and some questions is certainly for the gifted students, so that their thinking skill to be developed more and more. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Radhesham sir. I would come back to you. Now I would
Okay.
request Raminpati Pandey sir. Sir, there is a next question. I have already posted the question in the chat box. Mr. Praveen Kumar, PGT with Krishna Public School, Sundarnagar, Bhilai. The question says application of mother tongue in teaching, especially in cities where different linguistic students exist. A lot of people have asked this question. Do you think that implementation of this mother tongue would be a challenge, and what are the advantages and disadvantages as per your assessment?
Yeah, so thank you very much for this question, and thank you very much, Praveen ji, for this question, because this is a very important question about the mother tongue. Basically, this question it become more complicated when we're talking in terms of country like India, where we have a diversity. There are many languages we speak and many diversity. If I remember correctly, Major, I think we have more than 100 languages. And again, but one thing is very true. This is just my personal thinking, and this is just my personal comment. Somehow, I believe that all these languages are communication, because we need some way that we can communicate to each other. So sometime because we born like somewhere in the, suppose in the, like in the Tamil Nadu, then we speak like Tamil. We are in the different, like in West Bengal, then we speak Bengali. And in Maharashtra, we speak like Marathi. But this is very true. When we speak in our own language, then we are more expressive. And our thinking process is very like a complete way of thinking. Second, suppose we are saying what we are discussing, because English is not our the primary language. English is our secondary language. So everybody has transformed either from Hindi or from Bengal, from the Tamil, from the Marathi, from Kannada. That is like first thing what we do, even we are when we are communicating each other, we have a two stage. One, we when we transfer in our local language first, then we speak in the English. So what happens sometimes, we have a barrier of the communication. Sometimes what you are thinking really, when you are asking the question or you are expressing yourself, that will not come in the real context. So one example that I want to give, like if you see in like Japan or in South Korea or China. So in like in Japan, people speak the Japanese, and very a small country. Okay, if you see the total area of Japan, it is less than UP, Uttar Pradesh, of one of the state of India. But if you see the technology, if you see the education system that Japan has, they are excellent. They are the global leader, but they speak each other like in the Japanese language. When the Japanese people after the education system, when go to a state or they go to UK for the training for the higher education, they learn the everything, but again they come back to their country and they speak in their native language. Same thing for the China. China people, if you go see, people are doing after master degree, and they don't, some of the people that they don't know how to differentiate between who is he, who is she. He, she, they don't know. But if you see, they are also economically, their education system is very good. So this example, what I am trying to say that this is, if we have local language, I believe that that will bring a expressive way of education system. But in new education policy, whatever I know that the local language is like not compulsory. Like there should be not compulsory that you need to do the local language. You can adopt your other language. Coming like Bhilai, that is in one of the city in Madhya Pradesh, and the people are from like different, speaking like somebody Hindi or something. But even though I think if they will implement a language like a Hindi, and if the student are there, but I think there should be no problem. There will be no problem in the language if we are teaching or learning in the local language. I hope that I am make the answer clear.
Right. Thank you, Pandey sir. I'll come back to you. Now, I would once again request Radhesham sir. Sir, there's a question in the chat box. Mr. Anand Soneji has asked this question. In fact, a lot of people have asked this question. How this NEP is going to change the board pattern in our country?
Yes.
बहुत सारे लोगों का सर ये भी मानना है कि आगे जाके एक देश एक ही बोर्ड होने वाला है.
एक ही
आपका
बोर्ड
क्या
होने
मानना है?
वाला. Yes, it may be implemented, sir. Only one board may be possible. Hope that the government is thinking about that one. If it will be happen, then certainly education system will be globally or all over India will be the same. Same curriculum and same examination pattern to be implemented. But however, it will be not just now within a couple of years, it will not happen. It will take some time. Due to that, they are talking this system will be completely adopted till 2030. 10-year time they have given. What will be possible? Let us see. But now presently, certainly the 10+2 system will be continuing. Examination will be state board as well as CBSE as well as ICSE, all are working till now. लेकिन हो जाएगा. Certainly it will be planning that one board should be there.
One board.
Okay. Maybe
Right, sir.
CBSE, maybe Indian board, only one board will be named, and all these state boards as well as CBSE board will be controlling authority of the some people, some of the schools. It will happen.
और अभी like what changes you perceive in the current setup? क्या
The
changes?
current setup में तो IGT है. State board will be will be continuing, CBSE will be continuing, and then class 10th examination is also public examination to be happened इस system में. और +2 है ही, 12th class का तो होगा ही.
Right. Thank you, Radhesham sir. I'll come back to you. I just would like to check if Rajiv sir, if you are back.
Yes, sir.
Rajiv Mohan Pandey sir. Rajiv sir, do we have your presence? Okay. So, Raminpati Pandey sir, there is another question. A lot of people have asked this question that this NEP is giving a huge focus upon vocational education, and they are encouraging schools to start vocational education from 6th class onward. But many believe this would be a very challenging task for schools to organize such trainings. What are your assessments?
Yeah, so this is again a very good question. Second, vocational education country like India is very much needed because we need jobs. We need to create a entrepreneurship that people can create their own venture. They can generate the money, and at the same time, they can give jobs to other people who are going to join their venture. But like one example that I will give you, what happened after 10+2, when the student are studying 10+2 in biology, mostly a student, they want to be a doctor. They want to complete the MBBS, but you know that competition is very much like in a state level or at the national level. So at that time, we need to have some alternate. So what the government has decided before 2000, introduce a vocational course that was biotechnology. So that was the alternate career, biotechnology, and people have started doing the biotechnology. And after doing the biotechnology, believe me that now you see that in this time, during the when we are discovering a new vaccine for COVID-19, now everybody is knowing about the application of biotechnology because now we have the new vaccine and all these biotechnology scientists have discovered this vaccine, and now we are the warrior who have taken the vaccine. But again, this is because this was people were not aware about this thing. Biotechnology was a vocational course, and that has given a new addition to the education system. What we are seeing that, like one example that I am giving, that like a vaccine. Many pharma companies are the biotech based company in India, like Panacea Biotech. Okay, this is the biotech company. Many biotech ventures are coming, and if this is like a condition in India. If you go outside India, biotech people have a different demand. That's why we say that in India still we don't have plenty of a scope for researcher. That's why our researcher, after a higher education, they prefer to go outside India to be trained, because their infrastructure and everything is ready. So again, coming then, how this vocational education was started in India. So in botany, like in BSc or MSc, like a botany is one of the subject. So where the teachers were there, were teaching the BSc botany or MSc botany. At the same time, they have government has implemented the vocational education like biotechnology. Then same infrastructure, same people, they were teaching the biotechnology. So what happened after some time? Initially, it was difficult to adopt in a new system, but after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, the same professor, same scientist, they have applied for research grant to Government of India in country or outside country. They have got the research project and they have made a biotech lab there. So what will happen? There are two things that we can see. One, that was a traditional botany subject that teacher was teaching, but introducing a biotechnology as a vocational education at that place, that has bring a new technical, new innovation to that center and new job prospect. But the infrastructure was the same. So same way in India, if a new education policy is going to bring new vocational education, we can start from the same infrastructure that we have in our school system, and slowly we need to build it. We need to strengthen it, because nothing can be done in 1 day or 2 day. Everything is time taking process. So like one example that in India, because we know that we need to have like not like a traditional that everybody must need to have only doctors or engineers or the IAS or the bankers or in the railway. We need somebody can do some ground reality like carpenter. We need to have somebody who can be more technical thing that is needed in the country. So all this vocational education, if we are going to give from very beginning after 6 or after 7 to the student who are really interested, that will really bring a new dimension in our education system. And I think there the infrastructure will be have no problem. The study material, whatever we have, that is enough to adopt the vocational education in our education system. So this is just my answer.
Thank you, Pandey sir. I'll come back to you. Now, I would once again request Radhesham sir. There is a question, from I'm just posting the question. Question is from Miss Pratima Rathod. She is an assistant teacher with Navrachna Vidyalaya, Vadodara, Gujarat. The question says, what are the schemes in NEP for developing ECC at rural India?
Yes.
Join us. So I would come back to him after this question. Radhesham sir, over to you.
Hello.
Yes, Radhesham sir.
In again, repeat the
rural
question,
India.
sir.
Right.
In rural India, really it will be very difficult task. Basically, in rural India, majority of the schools are government schools. All the private school or private sectors will be in the cities, metropolitan cities or big class cities only. So it is a big challenge for the government. But in education policy, they are given to the liability to the government. They will do the infrastructure and prepare the rural students. Majority of the students are in that side. 20% hardly students are in the private. All others are in government school. तो मोर माने ये ज्यादा जिम्मेदारी है गवर्नमेंट की और लगे हुए हैं। पॉलिसी में तो बताया ही है, नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में
ये सर जो आंगनवाड़ी जो टीचर्स हैं उनको ट्रेनिंग के लिए जो ये
ट्रेनिंग के लिए वो
clause
बताया ना कि
दिया है,
6 मंथ, 6 मंथ सर्टिफिकेशन कोर्स और वन ईयर डिप्लोमा कोर्स
तो
गवर्नमेंट
इसके
इज
इससे
प्लानिंग
कितना
फॉर
बड़ा
दैट।
बदलाव आने की संभावना है?
इससे सर बदलाव तो आना चाहिए। अभी भी देखिए बीएड जितने होते हैं, मुझे ये लगता है कि ठीक से बीएड नहीं हो रहा। जब हमने ट्रेनिंग किया तो हमने तो गवर्नमेंट ट्रेनिंग किया। दे आर नोन एज ए एलटी, वेरी prominent training was there. From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. continuously we are working. 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Morning 6 a.m. PT will be started. Physical education 6 to 7. After that we will go to the breakfast and preparation for the theory classes. Only 10 to 12, 2 hours theory classes. After 12, all of us, all the trainees will go to the different places, either DO office or board office or school. Those who are going to the school, they are doing teaching as well as some teaching system. They will learn the system of the schooling. In the board examinations, what is the board work? Whole year we are moving like that. After 12 to 5, all these trainees are working. So
Right,
such
sir.
type of training is essential. Such type of training is essential in any.
Right, sir.
Right.
Right, sir. Thank you, Radhesham sir. And I would now request Rajiv Mohan Pandey sir. Sir, I would request if we can have your ideas in detail. Rajiv Mohan Pandey sir, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And sorry for the technical glitch which I was facing since last 15 minutes. Anyhow, I just reconnected you. And first of all, I would like to thank Radhesham sir for putting light on how this basic education department or the government education department has to come on a toes to help out with the implementation of this new education policy. Sir, going through your previous background and your experience, I am just connecting with Radhesham sir that you have been with Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, and Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan is such a rich organization which help out their each and every teaching staff to uplift them with the training sessions. I am lucky enough to be the part of different training sessions of Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, and I'm even lucky enough to give a training with the primary teachers of Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, which you used to have with your system. So coming on my point, which I spoke about in the starting itself, that I will be talking about community as a whole. That's how this new education policy is going to help out or uplift the community as a whole. Very rightly stated by Radheshyam sir that the community comes to the third rank when it talks about the new education policy and the implementation of the new education policy. To start with my presentation or the point views which I have in my mind, I will say that this Sanskrit slok itself defines the whole of the education policy as well as the community in an education policy. If I talk about it, says like that Abhivadan Silas Nit Vidyopasevanam Tarit Tasya Vardhan Ayu Vidya Yasovalam. That means विनम्रता स्वभाव में हो, सदैव अग्रजों का सम्मान हो, ऐसी प्रवृत्ति के ही विद्यार्थी अपने साथ में अपनी आयु, विद्या और कार्य दक्षता को आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं. What I mean to say is, there on each and every school wall, if you go with the government system, you'll find come to learn, go to serve. Now, whenever we talk about teaching, learning process, or when we talk about education as a whole, the first thing which comes in mind is to make good citizen of the country. When I talk about the good citizen of the country, it means that whomsoever coming to be the part of the education system in this system, which is the government is going to implement, speak about a transforming a student to a person where he respect the society, respect the people around, and of course, if you respect the society and respect the people around, he uplift not only himself but to the society as a whole. So to talk about the mono society again, I would say that there is school which are now working with the previous education policy and the system which we are going to, and now we are going to start with the working of the new education policy in the coming year. We need to understand one thing, that we need to connect with the society as a whole. Until and unless each and every school connect to the society, and where we need to find out the people in the society itself. We need to understand one thing before I prolong with the system, or prolong with my point. I should say that nowadays the schools have transformed a lot. Previous to this, if I say about the schooling system in India, many cities used to have 4 or 5 schools. Over a period of time, with the coming of the new private schools, the schools started coming in the district as in the number of 5 to 7 to 10. And over a period of time, now we are in community schools. Community school, if I talk about, in every society and in every area, if I talk about these, they are having in the school over there. So what the need of the hour is, when we talk about in community schooling, where the student will be able to walk on itself or travel on a hardly 1 or 2 kilometer and connect to the school, that is called a kind of a community school. If I talk about big cities like, let's say, any Bangalore, Delhi, or Calcutta, or if you talk about any metros, or even to if I talk about Lucknow and even to Ranchi or Patna, now the schools are in a society itself. Every society, a club of 4 or 5 societies are having schools now. So that is a point where we need to understand, the previous to this, the student used to get connected with the district as a whole. But what we need, the need of the hour is, that let us connect our student to the community as a whole. And how it can be done? It is very effectively done with the implementation of the new education policy. The new education policy speak about the role of the community with the working of the school. And when we talk about the role of the community with the working of the school is the school committed to forecasting effective school community partnership for providing enriching opportunities to enhance students' activities and then the activity of the schools. Now, here I need to understand, add on one more thing, that when we talk about community working with the school, you have find out in every community there are doctors, there are engineers, there are senior officers. Yes, of course, there are politicians too in every community if I talk about. So when the school connect them with the school, when the school connect these people with the school, and then they come back to the school and speak about their own achievements, when they speak about their own working which they have done and which has uplifted them to reach on such a level. So this partners with the community and the school enrich the student, where the student get back something which they are looking around, and that is having the society itself. So coming to the point again, the society is going to be the part of the new education policy in a such a way where the learning happens from the people of the society itself. Now, if I talk about, there are people like, if we have Mr. Radheshyam Pandey in the society over there, no matters he is heading in a school and is looking after that school as a principal over there. But suppose and then any other schools, if any other school in the society calls him and ask him to share his experience of the training part which he has been gone through, in that way, Mr. Radheshyam Pandey or any one of us who are a trainer in CBSE or working as a trainer can help out that school also. We can train those teachers over there, and when the teachers will be trained, the teachers training will directly affect the students. Believe you me, the moment we train a teacher, it train 100 students. A single teacher trained can help out more than 100 students. So no matters, the degrees are there, the people are knowing how to perform their job, the teachers are teaching the class, there is a principal, there is a monitoring system, there are coordinators. But until and unless we focus on a training part, nothing can be implemented. Do remember, even though we go for the small, I should say not the small, but big elections, where there also everyone, every government employee knows how to go and conduct the election. But again, the election commission asks that everyone should be trained again for the coming new elections. So in the same way, I will say that the backbone of the new education policy which we are going to implement the coming year is the training part. And for these training, it is not possible, we cannot expect from any of the government to provide and give training to each and every teacher in the school right now. So what we can do, we can ask the community, we can go back to the community again, we can ask the people over there
who are expertise in this and who can help out those teachers. So coming back to the community, asking the help of the community and bringing them to the school in a different matter, in a different role, that can uplift the teachers, the school, and the student. And in return to that, what will be happening when the students will be treated, or when the teachers will be trained by these people who are the part of the community, see the level of the respect will increase in the community itself, which we are looking forward. Previous 2 years, when I speak, means we at the age of 40, 45, we understand the previous time every person in the community is to be blessed every day. Means with the move around, we used to respect them. We used to say good morning, or the different words we used to perform a pranam or namaste. Now this we are lacking right now. Now how we can gain this? Because we need to make our student or even then our children to understand that these are the pillars of our society. These people who are in the society are the pillars of the society. When we will take them to our system and will involve them to our schooling system, then they are going to be not only helping out the teacher, the student, but at the same time, they will be looking forward for the respect, of the kind of respect which they used to have in the previous time. So I again say, let us take the people from the community, add on with their school system, and every school, if I talk about, have school management committee, Vidyalaya management committee, if I talk about the KVs, right? That is the perfect example. I will talk about the KV system, where they have the Vidyalaya management committee, where they take one from the education, one as in one person from the educationist, one is a teacher, one is a parent, and even then the people who are in the society or the community or the doctor of that very society or the community. So what is happening? All these people club together, and when they club together, they come hand in hand and they help out with the school. They not only help out with the school, they work out the 5 major important areas of the school. That is the activity participation. The people come into the society, people come to the school, they have a kind of activity where the activity, and that can be any kind of activity. Believe you me, if you have a good person who knows the yoga in your community, you can ask that yoga person, the people who is in your society and a community, that please sir, come and join our school and teach our teachers yoga and teach our students yoga. Every year we used to celebrate International Yoga Day, right, in the month of June. So why not to call someone from the society and community itself who come and teaches the yoga? And what will be in the return? The students and the teachers will be learning yoga. And the moment the students coming out of the school and when they see that yoga person, and I'm not saying that he's a teacher, yoga person who is helping them to understand yoga, the kind of respect they will have back to the person. So that is a kind of respect to be taken in. That is the kind of thing to be understand while we talk about the society. That is the next point when you talk about is informing student awareness. The second is very important thing, that student become aware about what is happening in the society right now, what is the need of the hour, what to be done, what to the next step to be done with this. We will not talk about the NEP, where we talk about the up to final +4 level, where the student come out with completing their grade 12 with a different kind of exam. Means they will be writing 8 exams over there. But these people coming from the society will help out the student about what is happening in the society, what is the need of the hour. Like nowadays, we are talking about more of coding. Everybody is talking about coding. Now, what we need to understand, if we have an engineer, when I have a software engineer in the society, call him to the school, ask him to explain the student, and let the student see the role model which is standing in front of him. So this way, again, the community participation can. The next is encourage motivation to the student. When a person who has performed in his life on such a level where he is known to the society and community comes back to the school, speak about his achievement, speak about what he has gone through, speak about what the level he is having. So this way, the students get motivated. And I strongly believe one thing: no matters, we call hundreds of people in our school every day to talk about and discuss with the student. I believe that if one student can be enlightened, one student can be enlightened in a year, that is the biggest achievement of the school. And not only the biggest achievement of the school, that is the biggest achievement of the society, with the connect of the society. Next is promote for health and well-being. This again can be effectively and easily performed. If we have a doctor in our society, we can call him to the school. Here he will discuss about the eating habits and the different parameters which we need to talk with the student. So this way also we connect with the society. And last and the very important thing, that any time if we call someone from the society that very person and honor that very person, no matters, it doesn't make any difference that you give a token of regard to that person who comes to the society. And believe you me, when you give a token of regard to the society, to the person who is coming or visiting to your school, he becomes the brand ambassador of the school. What do you need in a school right now? Only and only one thing: the better citizen to come out of the school, not only in the form of being educated in the form of the uh, books they are reading through, but also in the form of a good citizen which convert the whole society in a better society at a better moment. Now, again, if I talk about the another thing to be added on with this is, if we ask people from the society to come and join the school, and they motivate our students to go and plant more trees, which we did right now, which we need the most in this new era of COVID-19. So this is again connecting the student to the society through the people coming out from the school. Now this will be the first step towards the connecting of student to the society and to the people who are around. So again, I will say this appreciation and honor is also the part of uplifting the society to the people who are going and join the society. And some school policies which we can take when we talk about society in a school, that health and hygiene to be taken up, cleanliness to be taken up, students should be gone through with a traffic rule so that they go back in the society and respect that, and integration of new skills. Now this new skills, people talk about lot more things, that we can do this and we can do that. I again request every one of you that being in a part of education system, I will say that if we can add on the skills which is needed at a local level in that area. We also talked about this implementation of new education policy, where in grade 6 to 8 we talk about that anyone can go for the vocational courses. Now these vocational courses should be taken from the society itself, but the society is moving around. Like I will quote a very small example for this. Lucknow is known for their mangoes, right? So the people who are in Lucknow should allow their students, or schools and are in Lucknow should allow their student to visit the means different mango parks, right? Different mango bagan, if I say. So there the student will know about how this planting of mango trees can be done, how the mangoes to be extracted, and how even those mangoes can be exported. So these open the new lines. Means whatever skills we need to implement or we need to introduce in the school, we need to understand one thing, that should be from the local community itself. Until means if I talk about what is happening in US or what is happening in Silicon Valley, the student will not get connected with that. The moment I talk about what is happening next to his door, next to his school, next to his house, the student will be able to connect with it. And slowly, when we start connecting the student with the local things, with the society as a whole, the changes start coming. And those changes, of course, I feel that in an education system, not only will change the school, not only uplift the school, but also uplift the society. So this was from my side, and I thank you once again for giving me opportunity to speak on this society as a whole on this new education policy. And Radhisham sir, personally, I tell you that I was going through your whole presentation, the way you expressed yourself. I am very much associated with KVs. I am working with the retired principals, many retired principals of KV. And believe you me, what I am right now is just because of one KV retired principal, that is Mr. Kanhaiya Tiwari. I have no point of denying it. He is the person, he was the ex-principal of IIT KV Kanpur. He uplifted me with all my things. He trained me, he uplifted me, he pushed me even to go for the different training programs. And I'm lucky enough to the part of SQA, which is the CBSE is going to implement now, the new in which is going to be there for more than what we call an affiliation of the school. The next point which is coming is the school quality assessment and assurance framework. So I'm one of them, though the part of that. And I'm lucky, very much lucky to be connected with Radhasyam Pandey sir and of course the other Pandey sir. And again, I will say one more thing to close my point, that it is, I don't know whether it happened just by chance, but we all three Pandays are here on a day. So that's the biggest thing which I have taken in. And thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajiv sir, for sharing these important points. You largely emphasize upon the role of community, and we all agree with you, sir. Like when you said we need to create more community schools. You also talked about that NEP's emphasis upon sharing resources and sharing infrastructure is highly laudable, and we all agree with you there, sir. You also talked about we need to inculcate social values among our learners, among our students, and you also talked about the role of the importance of awareness in the lives of students. And we all agree with you, sir. Here, you also talked about and called upon all the educators that the objective of the school should be to create better citizens, and we all must work in that direction. In the end, you talked about the role of community and how we can ensure community participation for the effective skill development, utilization. So, big thanks, Rajiv sir, for sharing these important points. Thank you for your participation and ideas. And the time has come to end the session. But before we end the session, I would like to request our key speakers if we can have your concluding remarks. I would request our key speakers for their concluding remark. But before I invite them for their concluding remark, I just would like to share my screen for a minute. And I just would like to share the kind of work we are doing at School Lalaji Solutions. So please allow me to share my screen for a minute. Some of you are already aware with School Lalaji Solutions, we are India's largest one-stop solution platform for educational institutions. We are present in 45 cities, working with somewhere around 4,500 institutions. We help educational institutions in three ways. We help them in buying right thing from right people at right price. We also help them in selling their old stuff, like their old buses, generators, furnitures. We also help institutions in selling, in raising money, that may be in terms of loan or fee financing. Why any educational institution would need a platform like School Lalaji? You already have your old suppliers, your team is expert, you believe you're getting good discount, your team is efficient. So why you need a platform like School Lalaji? The two important reasons. One is the kind of discount we can get you. Second is the kind of bandwidth we have. In our educational ecosystem, in our educational setup, we have more than 10,000 educational suppliers. So it's very, very difficult for a school leader to meet all those people, to differentiate between different products available. Here we come into picture, we understand your school, your taste, your actual requirement. We also have category experts who interact with different companies category wise. And then after doing negotiation, we connect you with the right set of options. These are some areas where we are helping educational institutions: smart classroom procurement, uniform, insurance, diesel, solar plant, language labs, security solutions, furniture, recruitment, music classrooms, healthcare, robotics, STEM labs, career counseling, stationery, digital marketing, IT solutions, educational tour, generators, learning tools, and finance. And we take the guarantee that will save you at least 5 to 7% of your annual expenditure. This kind of a 5% additional revenue generation. Just one example, we saved 2 crore 40 lakh rupees for different schools last year in one category only, this bus insurance. Some major highlights: we did 8 megawatt plus solar installation, 3,000 plus bus insurance, 400 plus smart classroom, 2,000 plus cameras, 350 plus training programs we had organized last year, 56 old buses. We sold uniform in 42 schools. By the end of 2021, we aim to reach out to 10,000 institutions. We need your support, your guidance, your blessings. So big thanks once again. And now I would request our key speakers if we can have your concluding remark. And we have also established one very interesting practice, that while sharing your concluding remark, if you can also suggest one idea that you would like to implement if you get a chance to become Minister of Education of our country. So what would be your priority that you would like to implement? I would first request Dr. Ramendrapati Pandey sir, sir, if we can have your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Yeah, so thank you very much. So I would like to thanks to all the panelists. It was a great discussion. Radheshyam Pandey sir, Rajiv Mohan Pandey sir. So all Pandey sir together, it was a great discussion. And we have come to many new points during the discussion. So coming to the education minister of a country, of course, this is a challenging post like in India, because if you are holding a education minister and you need to